Sasuke vs Danzo is a fight that is balanced out incredibly well, and by this I mean the stellar choreography and intense action doesn't override the emotional tension between these two characters. At the very start of this arc, Sasuke had his eyes set on Danzo, like a hawk who's continuously stalking his prey till it gets cornered, and it's rather fitting that Sasuke had changed his name to Team Taka for this section of the story. As compared to when he was under the name of Team Hebi, Sasuke took the time to be careful with the prey he was stalking, just like a snake would. He was gathering information while trying to not stand out too much, yet with his change to Taka, it's a completely different story as he dives headfirst into the Kage summit. His hatred for Danzo had clouded his way of thinking rationally, which gets demonstrated numerous times through Sasuke abandoning his teammates to Karen literally saying he isn't the same Sasuke as before. We as the audience are slowly watching a new monster being built in front of us, both symbolically and literally through Sasuke's Susanoo continuously evolving the more he progresses through this arc. On the opposite side of things, we have Danzo, trying to escape from this reality where the spotlight shines on him to reveal all of the secrets he's been hiding in the dark. Danzo has always been a character who behaves like a rat, only rising up to the surface from the depths of the foundation when it benefits him only. But now that he's taken that next step as Hokage, he gets a rude awakening from Sasuke on how it isn't so easy anymore to run away from the sins that he's committed. Once the two characters come face to face again for what will be their final fight, Danzo sets the tone of the conflict straight away by revealing his arm filled with Sharingan eyes. No words need to be said in this moment to honestly display how much of a power move and a threat this is to Sasuke. Danzo showing the eyes of his slaughtered clan right in front of him, as you could only imagine the amount of anger building up in Sasuke at this current moment. It also pretty much confirms that Danzo played a part in the Uchiha massacre straight away, rather than waiting to find an answer at the very end of the fight. But for Sasuke, this still wasn't good enough. He wanted to hear it all, right from the source himself, how his brother was ordered to take on this heavy cruel burden of killing his own clan in cold blood. And Danzo cracks quite quickly, and I'm not just talking about his bones being crushed by Sasuke's Susanoo, but when it came to spurting out his confidential information. It honestly continues the theme of how Danzo doesn't like getting pushed into a corner with nowhere to run, yet he still holds close to his vile mindset and a way of thinking, which is shown through this sentence alone. But Itachi, by revealing his secret to you, finally truly betrayed Konoha. That is a wild statement to make, considering we know all of the hardships Itachi has had to deal with throughout his life. So this comment from an old man who has always harbored a grudge against the Uchiha gives him that small taste of satisfaction where he no longer feels bad spitting upon Itachi's name. But of course, this was Sasuke's breaking point, clenching Danzo to death like a cockroach. However, this only marked the start of the end when it came to this battle of illusions.
Sasuke gets a lot of amazing fights, especially in part 2. Sasuke vs Danzo is one of them. It is a fast-paced and tactical battle that really shows off the strength of chakra as a power system. As usual, I'll start with the phases and then go into the strategies. Phase 1 starts with Danzo punching Sasuke and the latter blocking with his Susanoo. Sasuke crushes him in his avatar's hands, but Danzo appears behind him and attacks with a kunai. This doesn't work and Sasuke kills him again. Danzo appears elsewhere, and Sasuke continues to attack. He finally decides to end the phase with a Matarasu, killing Danzo. Sasuke wins this phase. Phase 2 starts with Danzo alive again, and spitting bullets of wind at his opponent. Sasuke falls off the edge while dodging, and summons a hawk to save himself. He flies in, dodges a wind attack, and the two strike each other. Danzo chokes Sasuke, but Sasuke cuts through him, winning the phase. Phase 3 starts with Danzo coming back to life again. Sasuke starts with an Itachi genjutsu, and tries to attack from behind, but he's paralyzed by a curse mark that Danzo had placed on him before. Danzo tries to kill Sasuke with his own sword, but Sasuke fires up his Susanoo, forcing his opponent back, ending phase 3. This phase ends in a draw. Phase 4 starts with Sasuke Susanoo going from its level 1 skeletal form to its level 2 humanoid form. This form comes with a bow and arrow and begins firing at Danzo. The Hokage candidate evades the arrows with his tree and his Izanagi. He fires a Winjutsu at the Susanoo, but it's not effective. This phase has no winner. Phase 5 starts with Danzo summoning Baku. The summoning begins as vacuum suction, forcing Sasuke to stay in place. Danzo helps by getting behind and spitting a Winjutsu to push Sasuke into Baku's mouth. The attack rips apart the level 2, revealing the skeleton underneath. Sasuke counters by spitting fireballs into the monster's mouth, stopping its suction and unsummoning it. Then, his Susanoo punches Danzo away. Sasuke wins this phase. Phase 6 is the final one. Sasuke has figured out Danzo's Izanagi, but his Susanoo is wearing off. He kills Danzo one more time, before deactivating the avatar and engaging him in close range. He throws shurikens, but Danzo deflects with a kunai. After ensuring that he has one more Izanagi left, the two engage with wind and lightning blades. They both stab each other, but Sasuke's attack is more fatal. Danzo believes he's won, but Sasuke reveals that he casted a genjutsu to make him think that he still had one more Izanagi left to use when he was really out. The battle goes from 476 to 480, which is 5 chapters. That means the fight had a rate of at least 1 phase per chapter. This means that each chapter was introducing new strategies to the battle and ensured that it never stagnated. Speaking of strategies, this battle is packed with them. The biggest factor that made this battle creative was Danzo's Izanagi. He had an ability that allowed him to quickly rewrite reality anytime it was disadvantageous to him. This was not only creative, but well balanced. Such a powerful ability could have easily been broken in the hands of an average rider, but this battle made sure to include cons. Danzo had a visible limit to the amount of charges he had to use. Additionally, the jutsu had a time limit. These weaknesses were taken advantage of excellently, but I'll go into that later. Overall, the mystery of this jutsu was amazing because it made Danzo seem invincible. The way the characters slowly peel back the layers and weaknesses is also spectacular. Another thing that was interesting was the leveling up of Susanoo. We already saw what it looked like maxed out with Itachi, so seeing Sasuke progress through the levels during this battle and arc was reminiscent of Naruto and Sasuke's first fight in the valley. He starts with just the ribcage, which was unlocked during his interruption of the summit, and he ascends to the skeleton after grabbing Danzo. Then in phase 3, he levels up to the humanoid form. Phase 5 also revealed that Susanoo's back is its weakness. This is a necessary weakness for a broken power that is sadly never brought up again. From an outworld perspective, Danzo's ability to escape death with the Izanagi allowed Sasuke to go all out with his Susanoo, which was a nice sight to see. He didn't have to hold back to extend the fight. Now for the smaller strategies. Sasuke using the blood from Danzo's wind to summon his hawk was very clever, and so was his decision to save himself from falling with the flying summoning. Danzo's choke being revealed as a setup for his curse mark was fantastic strategizing. While the curse mark itself was an ass pull, the way the characters are shown to be planning moves several steps in advance really adds to the spectacle of the fight. Sasuke does the same thing. During phase 3, he casts a genjutsu before getting paralyzed. At the moment, it's just an attempt to finish the battle, but by the end, it is revealed to be Sasuke testing the waters to see if genjutsu was effective against his opponent, and it was. And in the final phase, after uncovering Izanagi's secrets, he uses a simple genjutsu to trick Danzo into thinking that his eye is still open. Danzo using the tree to move himself to save up his Izanagi was smart. His Baku and Windblade combo was also genius, and as was Sasuke's quick response with fire.
The ending to this conflict is by far the most interesting, as it's very different to how other fights in the series play out. Danzo has run out of options and is once again pushed into a corner, and it's fitting how his lack of experience with the Sharingan caused this. Danzo continued using Izanagi hastily at every opportunity he could, as Sasuke was easily able to take advantage of his rather poor use of it through examples mentioned before, like tricking Danzo into believing he had one extra eye left. It makes Sasuke's line of him saying, "Now that's battling with your eyes, do not mock the uchiha," all the more powerful of a statement, demonstrating how truly big of a gap there is between them both. And now that Danzo has no safe haven to return to, he looks for the next best possible solution that could grant him an opportunity to be free from this mess, and he does this by taking a hostage. Not much needs to be said here, as even Sasuke himself points out how ironic of a situation this is, seeing one who praised the act of self-sacrifice taking a hostage, as while Danzo does say he doesn't consider his life precious, he believes he should still be alive as only he can reform the shinobi world. Yet this doesn't go quite the way Danzo had envisioned, as Sasuke strikes an attack through both Karin and Danzo, in a way using Danzo's own words against him, where he saw a sacrifice was necessary for this moment and took it. We then get this really great scene of Sasuke slowly following a limping Danzo, watching his prey squirm and struggle, all while a smile is plastered over his face. It may be a brief moment, but it's enough for Sasuke to finally see the one responsible behind the pain and suffering get a taste of their own medicine, as the past, aka Sasuke, has finally caught up to Danzo. And speaking of the past, we see a really neat flashback which ties up some of Danzo's beliefs, this especially being the case for finding the right moment to die. As we've seen in this fight, Danzo desperately does not want to die till he finds the right moment, and in this flashback we see that from how he hesitates to put himself forward to be a diversion. It's one thing to say in your mind you'll do something, but it's a completely different story story to have that conviction both through mind and action. However, someone who did have that type of conviction was Sarutobi, resulting in him always being one step ahead of Danzo, this including being Hokage. And because of this small recollection of the past Danzo has, he believes he has found his place to die, even if it wouldn't be as impactful of a sacrifice compared to his teacher, the second Hokage, and his friend through Sarutobi. He had the conviction he needed, which results in his very own sacrifice. And while this does nothing to stop Sasuke and the Masked Man, it does something for Danzo in regards to himself. It showed a strong, mighty conviction for once. Unfortunately for Danzo, he was locked into a battle with a boy who, from the very start, had an unwavering headstrong goal that had no intention of stopping till his destination was reached.
This battle is one of Naruto's styles of writing fights, which I call the chess style. Fights like Lee vs Gaara and Naruto vs Sasuke are brawl style fights. In brawl style, the characters adopt a strategy or power up in a phase and beat up their opponent with it. There is a lot of close quarters combat in those battles, but in chess style, most of the attacks are like moves to either test out something or to try and end the battle. You'll rarely see combos or quick exchanges of blows. Most of the attacks are either a jutsu, weapon, or attack intended to wrap up the fight or counter the opponent. These fights involve a lot of planning, and each attack feels like a chess move. They have a more cerebral appeal, rather than a spectacle one. In conclusion, the combination of a good phase per chapter ratio and the excellent strategies made this one of the best fights in Naruto. This video featured Mike Yubi. Big thanks to him. Please check out his channel after this. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.